Everyone, so I've been trying a bunch of different setups to get this working more. Since I've did a reaction to The Last of Us Part 1, or Episode 1. I did a reaction to the Ant-Man Quantumania trailer. That's the thing that really kicked all this off, that everyone's like, oh, everyone. Like 2 or 3 people were like, oh, you should do more. You should try it. The problem is I've seen a lot of stuff, but since having a kid, I haven't seen a lot of stuff. So I've been dropping off the Seeing Everything train for the last 4 years. I still have seen things, so I'm not as far behind as other people, but I've dropped off watching DC stuff. I never got into any of the CW shows. If I've seen any of them, I don't know if I remember. Like, I'm aware that Grant Gustin is the Flash. And what was his name? Stephen Amell is Green Arrow. I saw like the first season of Supergirl. I don't remember any of it really. Yeah. So, and then as for the movies, I tried to hang with them. I've seen most of the Snyderverse, or all of the Snyderverse stuff. And, you know, I know it's tenuous about, like, what's in the Snyderverse, what's not in the Snyderverse, and should we even call it the Snyderverse because it's the DCU or the DCEU? I don't know. I vaguely followed the drama, but after Justice League came out, it was clear to me that it was just not good. Like, things were not going good. And then I tried to watch a few more, and they just weren't gripping me. I like Zack Snyder's Justice League, and I kind of hoped that, oh, well, maybe this is a sign, but... And that said, I'm not like a Zack Snyder fanboy. I like his stuff, but he certainly has his issues. I'm not 100% on his take on DC, but I am a fan that he, by and large, kept to a vision. Whether I liked it 100% or not, I like that he was trying to craft a cohesive story. So my big complaint with the DC movies is that they haven't done that. All that being said, James Gunn and I think his name's Peter Safran have taken over or been given control of the DC movie slate. And they finally, yesterday, came out with an announcement. And it's funny, so I mentioned that I reacted to The Last of Us and stuff. This video might actually come out before that because it's going to be easier for me to edit and get out. I am going to react to that other stuff, but I'm going to react to things as they come out. Right now, it's not going to be a schedule because, listen, I have a full-time job. This is, like, really on the side. Subscribe to the channel. Things will pop up right now, but right now I'm not focusing on a schedule. I'm just reacting to things as they come out. Anyway, I've rambled on long enough. He's come out with an announcement, and we're going to watch it. I'm going to react to it live, and we're going to see if James Gunn can turn this thing around. And let me close some of this and get this out of my face so it's not distracting to me. All right, here's James Gunn looking like an evil Jack Frost.
Hey everybody, I'm James Gunn. I'm the co-CEO of DC Studios. So as many of you know, DC has been disconnected in film and television for a long time. And it's one of our jobs, mine and Peter's, is to come in and make sure the DCU is connected in film, television, gaming, and animation. That the characters are consistent, played by the same actors, and it...
So you're wanting to connect gaming and books too? Like Star Wars? I mean, I can understand television and movies. I don't know that I would go into all of that and try to connect all that, James. This is my professional opinion. That's a big task, my man. Let's continue. I wouldn't do it.
Works within one story. And if something is outside of that, like Matt Reeves' Batman or Todd Phillips' Joker or Teen Titans Go that it is clearly labeled as DC Elseworlds, outside of the mainstream DCU continuity. Now, Peter and I have gotten pretty
I like that.
in terms of the 4
It's a good
projects
plan.
that are coming out over the next year. First, we have Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Shazam has always been off kind of in his own part of the DCU, so he connects very well. That moves directly into The Flash, a fantastic movie that I really love that resets the entire DC universe. Then to move into Blue Beetle.
Okay, so Shazam 2 flowing into The Flash. So they are going to release The Flash, despite all the Ezra Miller controversy. I didn't know if they were just going to take a write-off on that. I'm glad. I thought if they're going to reboot, they should just go ahead and instead of totally tossing everything out the window, use the Flash movie as the reboot point. It sounds like that's what he's saying they might do.
A fantastic film about a kid who's a marvelous part of the DCU, and then into Aquaman 2, which leads directly into our next few projects, which I'm going to tell you about now. So, Peter and I, along with a group of very talented writers, have started to map out an 8 to 10 year plan of what DC Studios will be in film, television, and gaming.
Okay.
This first chapter is called Gods and Monsters. Now, what I'm about to tell you, is a part of the first chapter. It's not the entire first chapter. The first project is Creature Commandos.
Okay. I mean, this feels like James Gunn is like, I want to work with more weird monster stuff. Okay. Bold move, Cotton. Let's see if it works.
Creature Commandos is an animated series. I've written all the episodes. Something we're going to do that's a little bit different at DC is we're going to have characters move into animation, out of animation, usually having the same actor play their voice as who plays them in live action. The next project up is Waller. This is a story of Amanda Waller, played by Viola Davis. Viola Davis is going to team up with members of Team Peacemaker, and this is a story that's been created by Crystal Henry.
So he is keeping his Peacemaker stuff as canon. That was the question that people had. Okay.
Who did Watchmen, and Jeremy Carver, who created the Doom Patrol. It is.
By the way, I have not seen Peacemaker. I did see his Suicide Squad movie, and it was okay. It was pretty good. I really came to like the Polka Dot Man, which I didn't expect to like. I thought the characters were really good. The story was only okay to me, but the characters were fun in that. And I mean, listen, seems to be James Gunn's strength as character. Whatever. Okay.
Is a fantastic story
that's hold on, let's
out
back
of this
up.
world. Created by Crystal Henry, who did Watchmen, and Jeremy Carver, who created the Doom Patrol. It is a fantastic story.
Never seen
that's out of this world.
Doom
I can't
Patrol.
wait for people to see it. Okay, next up is the big one, the true beginning of the DCU. This is called Superman Legacy. This is being written by me. I'm in the middle of it.
So he is doing a Superman movie. Okay.
I'm having a great time doing.
Wait, so. Okay, I'll save my questions with you.
And Superman will be released into theaters July 11th, 2025. Okay, the next thing is a big premiere HBO television series called Lanterns. This is a story of a couple of Green Lanterns, John Stewart and Hal Jordan, and we have a few other Lanterns peppered in there, but this is really a terrestrial-based TV show, which is almost like True Detective, with a couple of Green Lanterns who are space cops watching over Precinct Earth. In it, they discover a terrifying mystery that ties into our larger story of the DC.
There was definitely a cut in there. Terrifying mystery. By the way, so I'm an editor and a videographer by trade. I used to work in the film industry for like 10 years. And I mostly did previs and vis effects at that time. So my ear picks up on like little cuts and stuff. I mean, it was good. It was a good cut. Kudos to the editor. But I heard you, son. I heard you. It's not your fault. It's James' fault. We all know that. He was too hard on the what was it? Let's hear it.
Discover a terrifying mystery.
A terrifying mystery.
That ties into our larger story of the DCU. Next is a big movie called The Authority. The Authority is a passion project of mine. It's based on the marvelous Wildstorm characters. We are now bringing in the DCU and will interact with all of our primary DCU characters. The Authority are a group of superheroes who think the world is broken and they want to fix it by any means necessary. I think it's a very different look at superheroes. We're doing a television series called Paradise Lost. Paradise Lost is the story of Paradise Island, usually known as Themyscira, which is the birthplace of Wonder Woman. It's almost like Game of Thrones with...
Yeah, but we've got rid of Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot of Paradise Island. The introduction of the DCU's Batman is The Brave and the Bold. The Brave and the Bold is the story of Batman and his actual son, Damian Wayne. This is based on Grant Morrison's great comic book run. Damian Wayne is my favorite Robin. He's a little assassin.
I have a lot to say. Listen, okay, whatever.
Who Batman tries to get in line.
I'm going to tell you, I'm not thrilled right now. I'm just not thrilled. None of this is exciting to me. And the idea of you're not starting with establishing a new Batman. You know, you're starting with a much far along Batman who's gone through Dick Grayson, which means at this point in time, Dick Grayson would be Nightwing. Jason Todd has been Robin, died, come back, and is now the Red Hood. I'm more of a Marvel fan than a DC fan, but I did read DC books growing up, and I have some. I haven't read a lot of the Damian Wayne stuff. I've seen some like the animated shows a long time ago, but I don't know much. I know he's like the son of Bruce and Talia al Ghul. I know he's like really brutal. All this stuff seems like James Gunn just wanting to do James Gunny stuff in the service of his own ego. That's how it's coming off to me. It's not coming off to me as a fan of DC as a whole wanting to see DC stuff. It's like, oh, I'm wanting to do just what I like to do. I don't know.
And so this is the story of the two of them and the beginning of sort of the Bat family in the DCU. Next up is a TV series called Booster Gold. Booster Gold is one of comics really...
I mean, they've talked about Booster Gold for ages.
He's a fascinating guy. He's a loser from the future who uses future technology to come back to present day and become a superhero so that people will love him. It's basically the superhero story of imposter syndrome on an HBO Max series. One of my favorite comic book series from last year was Tom King's run on Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. And so we're going to turn that into a big science fiction epic film. Now, Superman is a guy who was sent to Earth and raised by loving parents. Whereas Supergirl in this story, she is a character who was raised on a chunk of Krypton. She watched everybody around her perish in some terrible way. So she's a much more jaded character. And that brings me to Swamp Thing, the last thing we're going to talk about. A very dark horror story in the origins of the monster.
Okay.
Is Swamp Thing. And although it's totally outside of the rest of the DCU, it will still feed into the rest of the stories. Anyway, those are the stories that I can tell you about right now. I've loved the DC characters since I was a child. They're incredibly important to me. I knew that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do something very different. One of the things that's very important for me in all of these movies and TV series is that the director's vision and the vision of the writers and all of the creators is unique and something special. Storytelling is always king. That's all that matters to us. And I want to be true to those stories. I want to be true to you guys and really give you something different than you've ever seen before. Anyway, thank you, everybody. I appreciate you watching. I hope this was exciting for you because it's really exciting for me. And I can't wait to start to dive into these stories with you guys on this grand adventure. Thank you so much. Hey, everybody.
Yo, I'm gonna be honest. Because who cares, right? I'm trying to be optimistic. I always hope that things go well. And they could. And I could totally be swung around. There have been plenty of projects that I've been a part of and that I have read or heard was coming out that I didn't think were going to be good. And they changed my mind. I thought they turned out good. And then usually when that happens, then great. Then I'm on board. I'm not sure this is it. Like the DC movies and shows, I'm going to say, they haven't gripped people. They have their niche audiences here and there that like, they like this thing and they like that thing. They like Legends of Tomorrow, or they like, Doom Patrol, or they like Peacemaker, or they like the Aquaman movies, or, whatever. But overall, or they like the Snyder stuff, right? But overall, they haven't like cohesively grabbed anybody. And I feel like DC's problem has been, to some degree, they're like, we don't want to be compared to Marvel or anything else. We want to set ourselves apart, but we're also not going to stick to a plan. So even now, when they're like, okay, we're going to stick to this plan. Okay, I've heard that before. Will you? Great, maybe. Let's for the benefit of the doubt, say you will. It's still unclear. What are you doing? Is this a complete reboot, or is it not? Because you're talking about like leading into a new world. But Aquaman 2, I think, was it Aquaman 2 they announced is still going to be in the universe. See, it's not even fresh in my mind anymore. James, you totally did not grip me, my man. Oh, God. So, all right. I just saw a notification that Jedi Survivor was delayed, and I just pre-ordered that game, and I'm like, shoot. That's a different thing.
Hey everybody, I'm James Gunn. I'm the co-CEO of DC Studios. So as many of you know, DC has been disconnected in film and television for a long time. And it's our jobs, mine and Peter's, is to come in and make sure the DCU is connected in film, television, gaming, animation. That the characters are consistent, played as Joker or Teen Titans Go, that it is clearly labeled as DC Elseworlds, outside of the mainstream DCU continuity. Now, Peter and I have gotten pretty lucky in terms of the 4 projects that are coming out over the next year. First, we have Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Shazam has always been off kind of in his own part of the DCU.
So Batman is still happening, and the other Joker movie is still happening. That's basically what he said there. I'd missed that the first time. Okay. But they're going to be relabeled. Okay. Whatever. And that's a good idea. I'm going to give that's a good idea, because I feel like I'm talking fast because, I put it on fast. But that's a good idea to relabel for the general audience. And this is where my point was coming to.
So he connects very well. That moves directly into The Flash, a fantastic movie that I really love, that resets the entire DC universe. And then to move into Blue Beetle, a fantastic film.
So Flash resets the entire universe. That's what he said, right? I didn't mishear him.
That resets the entire DC universe.
Okay. Because this is where my confusion comes in. Resets the entire universe. So that means you could then start from their new slate. Or you starting from all these movies he's talking about right after. Where are you starting from? That's my question. Or can you ignore everything beforehand?
To move into Blue Beetle, a fantastic film about a kid who's a marvelous part of the DCU, and then into Aquaman 2, which leads directly into our next few projects, which I'm going to tell you about now.
So is Aquaman 2 going to be in the new DC universe after the reboot?
Okay, next up is a big one, the true beginning of the DCU. This is called Superman Legacy. This is being written by me. I'm in the middle of it. I'm having a great time doing it, and Superman will be released into theaters.
So does that mean we're going to come back to a universe where there's an established Superman, but we all know it's not going to be Henry, which I'm really bummed about. Really bummed. That really ticks me off. I'm going to full admission. That is like how they've handled that whole Henry Cavill situation over Warner Brothers is just really, because even though he's not like the optimistic Superman, I feel like he had finally gotten there, right? He'd really finally gone through his ups and downs with the Snyder stuff, and he had come to grow into the Superman we all love, and we all love. I don't know if you love it, but that said, I always liked his portrayal, and I liked the humanity he really brought to the role, and so I was really excited. He's been my favorite that they ever cast. So I got something in my teeth.
July 11th, 2025. Okay, the next thing is a big premiere HBO television series called...
So that's my question. Like, so if the Flash is rebooting things, Blue Beetle, okay, new character, new universe, fine. The Aquaman thing is what's throwing me off. Is the new Aquaman movie going to be considered part of this new James Gunn universe? Or is it going to be a holdover from the old universe? That's my question. And furthermore, does that mean Jason Momoa is the only cast member that's staying? Are they going to try to keep Ezra Miller, or are they going to do something in the Flash movie and recast him at the end? Like, these are the... I want to know how clean the break is, right? Are we going full? Because at this point in time, I'm almost like, you know what? Screw it. If you're going to reboot, just reboot. Don't string me along. Because my concern is that if you keep any actors, because if you're keeping, that's the other thing, if you're keeping stuff from the Peacemaker world, then you're keeping Viola Davis possibly as Amanda Waller, which is a holdover from the old world, or the old universe, or however they're putting it. And you're keeping John Cena as Peacemaker, correct? But does that mean you're also keeping Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn? Why are you keeping some of these people, but not other ones? So to me, this feels less about a person who truly cares about the story of the universe, because he's still keeping around his pet project stuff that he did and he likes to do. And he's still keeping around people that he personally is friends with, while cutting people like Henry, who he's not friends with. I mean, I don't care what he says. I think that's blatantly obvious at this point. And that's fine. I'm not saying he has to be friends with him. But he's clearly showing favoritism for his own personal views, which, as the head of DC stuff, is his right. I'm not saying it's not his right. I'm just saying how it could be perceived, how it's being perceived by me, and how it could be perceived by other people who are fans. And there's a little bit of disappointment. I would have, as painful as it might have been, I feel it would have been better if he did like a clean break and just say, you know what, we're going to roll out this other stuff because it's already been shot. You know, we're going to roll out Flash and we're going to roll out all that stuff, but we're going to end the universe at X point, and then our new universe is going to pick up, and everything's going to be Elseworlds, and this is going to be our new continuity and stuff like that. But it's not as clean a break as I want, or I feel that they should do, because yeah, you're going to tick people off. This, to me, this still feels like they're trying to have their cake and eat it too. Some of these things will still be in, some of it won't, and some people, we don't want to make everybody mad. Bro, you're making people mad anyway. So just go ahead and do it. Rip the Band-Aid off. And go do your James Gunn universe, if that's what you want to do. Because let's be real, that's what this is. With these funny little monster shows and things like that, that's a James Gunn thing. Amanda Waller, that's James Gunn thing. I'm just gonna flat out say it now. Superman wanted to reboot Superman.
Lanterns. This is a story of a couple of Green Lanterns, John Stewart and Hal Jordan, and we have a few other Lanterns peppered in there, but this is really a terrestrial storm character.
This, the Authority, James Gunn thing. You didn't have to start with the Authority. Now maybe it'll work. But
and we'll interact with all of our primary DCU characters. The Authority are a group of superheroes who think the world is broken, and they of Wonder Woman. It's almost like primary DCU.
Basically, the Squadron.
The Authority are a group of superheroes who think the world is broken. And
sorry, I'm wearing a flat-out Marvel
T-shirt. I think it's a very different look at
superheroes.
We're doing a television series called Paradise
Whatever.
Lost.
I've already said I'm more of a Marvel fan than I am a DC fan. And that said, I have a lot of things to say about Marvel, but different video.
Paradise Lost is the story of Paradise Island, usually known as Themyscira, which is the birthplace of Wonder Woman. It's almost like Game of Thrones with Westeros, but with all of the inhabitants of Paradise Island. The introduction of the DCU's Batman is The Brave and the Bold. The Brave and the Bold is the story of Batman and his actual son.
So this is basically them. They're confirming we're not going to bring in Matt Reeves' Batman. And I get the feeling from what I've heard is that they approached Matt Reeves about bringing in his Batman into this, and he said absolutely not. That's what I've heard. I don't know if there's truth to that. That's what I've heard. And so they're going to have to do their own thing. I don't like that it's, like I said, I don't like an established Batman. I don't think it's a good idea to jump all the way to Damian Wayne. I think you're going to lose people. I think you're going to lose some maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you won't lose normies. But I feel like you're jumping way down the storyline for a lot of this stuff. And I know there are people like, we don't need another Batman origin story. We don't need. I'm not saying you do. You could do what Matt Reeves did, and you can start with just an earlier Bruce Wayne. But starting on the fourth or fifth iteration of a Robin tells you there's so much. You're just kind of tossing people, and maybe it'll work. Wayne
is my favorite Robin. He's a little assassin who Batman tries to get in line, and so this is the story of the two of them.
Damian is his favorite Robin, and that's why he wants to do that.
Next up is a TV series called Booster Gold. Booster Gold is one of Cunning's run on Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, and so we're going to turn that into a big
whatever. I don't know anything about that.
Now, Superman found her to perish in some terrible way. It is Swamp, and although
the Swamp Thing, okay.
Oh, it's totally outside of the rest of the DCU. It will still be.
Where is this going? That's my other question. Where is all of this going? Because it's not going anywhere. What's it leading to? So they have a Superman movie, right? And they have a Wonder Woman Paradise. They're calling it Paradise Lost, but that's going to be a Wonder Woman movie. All right, so that's your second of the big train. And then you're going to have The Brave and the Bold, which is going to be your Batman movie. So they're really introducing their big three. But they're keeping Momoa's Aquaman. That's what it sounds like. This Flash movie must be a real legit Flashpoint movie. Which has been a while since I read Flashpoint. I have to look at it again. I don't know. I'm trying not to be frustrated. This announcement was not... I've been trying not to be frustrated the whole time. I have been a little jaded with DC just because how they've handled things. The announcement of James Gunn taking over, it was not a big huzzah to me. He is what he is. And he works in particular spots. I do not think he is the guy to head up a giant universe because of his proclivities towards self-aggrandizement, I guess. I'm just saying for a broad general audience. I'm going to be able to follow along. I'm going to be fine with it. I know a lot of people in my life who will be like, I don't know what this is. Where are we? Why is this person different? Why is what's going on? And here's why I say it might be a mistake to keep Jason Momoa and Viola Davis and John Cena and all these people while getting rid of other people and not making a clean break. That can get confusing for audiences. And I know people like to go, well, in the modern world, people can go on the internet and look at it. You think people really know that? I'm going to tell you right now, most people don't even know this announcement happened. We know it because we're in it. But I'm telling you, most people don't know. And this is something even I didn't understand for a long time. But as I've gotten older, if you're not in it, you don't know. And let's put it this way. My wife is in it, and she doesn't even know. I don't know if this announcement is it. I'm going to go watch some other people's videos and see what they think about it. But I have not even cautious optimism. I have cautious trepidation about this whole thing. I just don't know. I just don't know. Y'all tell me. Am I way off? Should I be really more excited about this? Like, when I saw Chapter 1 Gods and Monsters, I was like, oh, okay, Chapter 1, we're starting all over. They're just going to do a clean break. Right now, it doesn't look like it comes together at all. They're not building towards anything. Which I'm not saying you have to build towards something, but it helps when you're filling out chapters. Maybe that's what they're going to call it. Instead of phases, they're going to be chapters. Thanks for watching. I wish I could be more excited about this, guys. I really do. I'm just so cautious about this whole thing. DC has really not done a good job. And this did not this did not tell me, oh, they're turning it around. So, we'll see.